Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Erica's in a polyamorous relationship.
You say you're the king, she's a princess.
I know myself to be the human leader of the world.
They claim their daughter's been brainwashed.
You're holding this sign that says, I am a horrible mother.
That he needs to be stopped.
He is yelling and throwing profanities in front of these children. The fact that you're saying that's okay with you is not okay with me.
And that she needs an intervention.
They're incapable of seeing the woman that I'm trying to grow into.
Your soul is gone.
I'm the most connected to myself than I've ever been.
You're homeless with your children.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Thank you very much. Okay, now Chris believes he is a rare human whose ideas are, and I quote, imperative to the evolution of humanity. Chris claims that in order for humans to be truly happy and successful, they need to quit their jobs, forget about money, and men need to take multiple partners. But now Chris isn't the only person who thinks he can save the world. His girlfriend and mother of his 2 children, Erica, insist that Chris is not only instrumental in saving mankind, he's saving her. Now, Erica's parents, Suzanne and Guy, and stepmother Susan complain that Chris isn't saving anyone. In fact, they say Erica is being brainwashed and indoctrinated into Chris's dangerous, homeless, and cult-like lifestyle. Take a look.
Ever since Chris came into Erica's life, her world has been turned upside down.
Chris has brainwashed my daughter and completely changed who she is.
I am rare to the world. I am capable of having a great scope of the world as what it is.
Chris lives in a delusional state.
And now I know myself to be a human leader for the world.
Chris truly believes he's brilliant.
We're not really seeing ourselves through our own eyes. Our eyes have to be open beyond what it is that we understand alone.
Chris claims to have all the answers and claims to be the leader of the world. He convinces women that he can make them better humans.
How much effort does it take to know a human being?
Chris considers himself a king and has her believing that he is the perfect human being.
It's ridiculous to me. He doesn't even have a place to call his kingdom. Chris doesn't believe in working and thinks jobs are beneath him. But he mooches off people all the time.
Now, Erica refuses to work because of the ideologies that Chris has planted in her brain. She has become just another version of him. Before Chris, Erica was a hard worker and worked multiple jobs. Since then, she's lost every job. All her money is gone.
When I go panhandling, this is the sign that I use.
Chris even has her panhandling on the streets for money, but the king doesn't panhandle because that's below him. And that's what the women are for.
Erica's in a bad situation. She's homeless. In the last year, she's reached out asking me for money. We told everyone to stop sending her money.
If Erica is homeless, begging on the street, I feel that Chris could force her into prostitution.
Erica needs an intervention.
Well, Erica's parents claim it gets worse. Chris has labeled himself the king of a polyamorous relationship where Erica is his princess and another woman is his queen.
Charnel. Erica, you're a poly-triad.
Erica is now in a polyamorous relationship with Chris and another woman, Charnel, who is 7 months pregnant with his child.
We're a polyamorous group. Everything that we're doing is to make a better world.
They call themselves the first poly family of the Bible Belt, and they post about their relationship online.
I'm mortified and embarrassed. It's not the way she was raised.
Chris is proud of his poly-triad relationship. Chris has all of them walking around the house naked.
I've seen a photo where Chris has had my daughter walking around in her underwear. underwear. And another photo of Erica and Charnel kissing him. It disgusts me.
Part of Chris's commune-type living is selfishly having multiple partners, have children with them, and not financially support the children.
This is not just about sex. It's more about us really operating and advancing each other to the highest level.
Chris's goal is to be the king of his commune and bring in women from all races and reproduce with them.
If more people join in and have more kids while being homeless, it's only going to get worse.
It's extremely hard to understand how Erica could put herself into this type of a situation.
I fear Erica's going to get pregnant again.
He's not a responsible father. What he really needs to do is have a vasectomy.
Chris needs to be stopped now.
Well, Erica's family claim that Chris needs to be stopped and stopped now because they believe their 2 grandchildren are clearly in danger.
Erica and Chris are placing my grandchildren in danger.
Their environment right now is not healthy. They're homeless and they're being carted around from hotel to motel. Memphis is one of the highest crime cities in the nation. This is so dangerous for the grandchildren to be on the streets around strangers.
I don't think they recognize that putting their kids in danger. When I visited in February of 2017, I could smell the pot in the house, and it made me feel sick. I don't know how they could do that with a newborn and a toddler. It makes me upset.
The children should have a space of their own and have a family support system.
Because we're only as strong as our weakest link. His inferiority complex is what's submitting humanity in general. These variations which we come in are necessary for us all to thrive.
The way that Chris behaves around my grandchildren is unacceptable.
I have to say you for now because you are only good to me if you are willing to be with me.
I've seen Chris post a video on Facebook. Chris is yelling like this while he's holding the baby, ranting and cursing.
Isn't that what faith is? When you don't have the proof behind something?
The baby is mimicking him. He has so much anger that it stresses me out, and I can't imagine how the children feel.
Maybe you even marry one of them one day.
No!
I contacted CPS after the disturbing video was posted on Facebook. CPS said there wasn't enough evidence. I felt like it was a losing battle.
I worry in about 10 years they'll come knocking on the door and saying that we were living in hell and wondering why we didn't get them out of their hell sooner.
It's good to meet y'all. I'm sorry for the occasion. I wish we were dealing with something else. Let me start with you, Dad. How emergent do you think the situation is?
It's, I think it reached critical mass.
He's the king here, and the women are in submissive roles here. What's your concern?
First, I was concerned about Erica, like where she's living, walking in the streets. I'm fearful for her safety. But again, she's an adult. But when the kids start coming into play, I have a fear for the grandkids.
Yeah. Erica was she was moving, right? She was on her way to go where?
She was a very talented cake designer.
Right.
She had an opportunity to become a partner in a bakery.
And next thing you know, here she is involved in this. How did that happen?
I think he said the right things at the right time at the moment that she met with him. And then he began his brainwashing techniques on her.
I'm told that she was kept awake for 24 hours at a time and just pounded with these messages and pounded with these messages. But he also says that she still shows resistance to him. Does that give you hope to hear that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
There is still part of Erica there.
Okay.
Hopefully we can salvage that.
Yes.
You think he may not be the king of humanity. You think he might be a lazy pot-smoking freeloader, right?
And that's to put it mildly.
Yeah, if you were going to pick one, it would be a lazy freeloading pot smoker.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what his whole MO is.
But he makes great claims and thinks that need to forget about jobs, forget about education, forget about money, and everything's going to operate on this big barter system. Mm-hmm. And so they don't have jobs, but he's got your daughter out panhandling on the side of the road with the children.
Yep, as props.
Yes, as sympathy props. Mm-hmm. Erica says her family's white picket fence corporate job existence is what's conditioned them against Chris and her and their newfound way of life. Now, we're going to add her to the conversation after the break and hear what she has to say about this. I think you just might find some of her reasoning interesting. We'll be right back.
I refuse to get a regular job. I'd go out to the streets and panhandle just to keep a roof over our head. Working a 9 to 5 would lead to a life of mediocrity.
And later,
He claims to be the leader of the world. That's what you proclaim. You're the leader of the world. You're begging on the street for money because you're homeless and you refuse to work.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
the man of her dreams, Simon, left, and this never returned 2 years ago. Sheila says she has driven over 80,000 miles in search of her true love.
She believes her ex-boyfriend
I hear songs, I follow the clues.
sends her messages through the radio.
I heard 99 red balloons. Oh, there's a balloon right there.
It's nuts. You are relentless.
Yeah, Simon called me relentless.
Is it true love?
What if it turns out that he hasn't, in fact, given you a second thought in 2 years?
But I'm positive I've seen him a number of times.
Is her search finally over?
We launched an international investigation to find Simon. He's in this building right now. Come on down.
That's tomorrow.
From refusing to work to sharing her king with multiple women, Erica says she's not under a cult-like spell. She says she wishes her family would stop being so close-minded and see how special Chris really is.
My family accused Chris of being controlling, manipulative, a lazy good-for-nothing father, incapable of really providing for his family, and they think that I'm completely being brainwashed.
As a parent, how much of that time are you really spending with your child and in their development?
Chris is not brainwashing me. He's been a coach, teaching and leading by example to find a better self. I completely think that they judge Chris based on the color of his skin.
Woman is really so powerful, but most people are trying to really emulate her without even knowing how to emulate her.
Chris is helping me become a better human, a better partner, and a better mother. And I'm learning to live an open and honest life. I feel that Chris is important to this world.
How can we have a society based on money over the value of human beings?
Chris has been extremely instrumental in helping me achieve my ideologies. That we need to live independent of the system, give up traditional jobs. I refuse to get a regular job because working a 9 to 5 would lead to a life of mediocrity. We are building a family community cooperative. We work together as a business, or barter system versus money. My parents do not get the concept at all. You know, they're living their suburban lifestyle. When I go panhandling, this is the sign that I use. Big family, need help. Thank you and God bless. In order to pursue the lifestyle that I preach, I've had to sacrifice a lot. I've had to go out to the streets and panhandle just to keep a roof over our head. The first time Charnel and I went out together, and we were really in a dire situation. We literally had no money left.
And we had the younger baby or Tessa with us at the time, thinking, you know, people would look at us and see, okay, well, we really need help. They thought we were a joke.
This is what I've had to do for what was necessary to maintain a safe place for my family. My parents think that myself and Chris are putting our kids in harm's way. It's completely inaccurate. We're just trying to build a better future for our kids.
Okay, now, ordinarily, I would add Erica right now. We're going to in just a minute because I need to see where you guys are after looking at this. These children are in harm's way. When you're subjecting a child to that kind of emotional and intellectual yelling and screaming and rhetoric, that changes who they are. I mean, that is abuse.
Absolutely.
And Erica's failing to intervene and keep them out of that is abuse by neglect. I'm a mandated reporter, and I can tell you from the minute I looked at this, I have to take action here.
I'm usually a mild-mannered person, but right now my blood is boiling and I'm pissed off.
Dad to dad, grandfather to grandfather, I get it, man, and this has got to stop.
Without a doubt.
Okay, let's bring Erica out. You guys have not seen your daughter for how long?
Since June of 2016.
Okay, so
February
it's been over a year.
of
Okay.
this year.
All right, so here she is. Here's Erica. Erica, how are you? Good to meet you. How you doing? So you haven't seen these folks in a while?
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
How's it feel to see them now?
Interesting in this dynamic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You grew up in this family unit, in this home. How did you go from there to this particular situation where you're holding this sign that says, I am a horrible mother, where you're publicly shaming yourself? Mm-hmm. You wrote the sign, right?
Yes, I did.
And what's your objective here?
My objective is to bring to light that simply because you birth a child doesn't mean that you're a natural mother, and that there's, issues, there's fears, there's worries that we work on a consistent basis.
It says, I am a horrible and inconsiderate mother.
Yes.
I'm frustrated with my children. I refuse to be present even when my children are wonderful and completely undeserving of my behavior and destructive attitude. Is that true?
Yes.
So you're a horrible mother?
Yes. I'm working on being a wonderful mother, but right now...
You're a horrible mother?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's good to know. I appreciate your candor. It's good to know. And then there's this one where you're shaming yourself as being a disgusting child.
Yes.
You say, I'm a disgusting child. I refuse to do what is necessary because I would rather do what I want and what is more convenient and comfortable for me. I neglect what is important for my family's success on a regular basis.
I do. We grow up in a world where we go to school and then we go to college and we are taught how to have a job. We are taught how to get money, but we're not taught how to get ourselves up every day and have motivation for ourselves. Mm-hmm. I've been working on a family business and we're at the ground floors. So right now, each day is important. And some days, because the money isn't necessarily a reward, I've been so trained to think that I need to get money for everything it is that I do. So even to get up for my own self, to take care of myself, or to get up before my kids, to know that they get up at a certain time so that their food can be ready, instead of me creating a stress and waking up after them and then being anxious. And, yes, I've been conditioned to only get up and do for money.
Okay, and then you also are shaming yourself as a racist. You say, my black boyfriend is the most loving and considerate human being I've ever met, and after all he has exampled for me for the past 3 years, I still defend myself to protect my image and play a victim role in public, especially around white people, to make him appear irrational. I am still racist.
Yes.
And you've gotten this enlightenment since you've been with Chris.
Yes.
You made this sign about that you're a horrible and inconsiderate mother, and you list some reasons like being frustrated with your children, etc. Mm-hmm. You don't list putting them on the street corner as props to get sympathy from people to get money from them. You don't list that as one of the reasons that you're a horrible mother.
No, and this sign was way before that, and it was one incident where I brought my daughter out for a few hours. It was never a consistent thing, and it was never both of my child, and it was far from being a prop. It was my last option to keep a roof over my family's head.
It says 2 broke girls and a baby.
Yeah, that's a prop for the baby.
That's my granddaughter.
That's his granddaughter who we never met, never knew about, never even knew you were pregnant.
I doubt that you know.
We did not know. You were in our home.
I think you guys are more. I think you guys are more upset that I personally did not call you.
It's third party.
No.
Okay.
You were in our home and you said you wanted to start over, be fresh, be honest.
But the last thing you left is that they are very stuck in a lot of their feelings versus even having an understanding of where I'm coming from or what my experiences are.
What happened to the honesty you wanted to start fresh with?
Well, Chris is here and says it's people like Erica's family, who he calls cankers, that are keeping the world from being a better place. We'll hear more about that when we meet him after the break.
I'm Erica's teacher, role model, and coach. It is easy for Erica's parents to say that I'm brainwashing her when it's been them who've been trying to brainwash Erica all her life. Erica's parents believe I'm a danger to my own children. It's more of a danger for me not to be around my children.
And later, you're doing that in front of these children.
By him expressing himself?
Yelling and screaming and throwing profanities. The fact that you're saying that's okay with you is not okay with me.
I believe Chris used brainwashing techniques to get Erica. Shortly after they met, Erica's roommate told me that he would keep her awake for over 24 hours, spending every waking minute feeding her his ideas. He would let her go to work, come home, sleep for a little while, and then repeat the cycle. Chris is mentally unstable and is a danger to Erica and the children. There's no telling what Chris can do. She listens and believes everything he says. What scares me if he tells her to harm the children. I think she would say yes because she no longer thinks for herself.
Well, Erica's family claims that her boyfriend Chris has conned her into believing he's the ultimate human being who can save her, can save the world. Now, Chris says he doesn't need to con anyone because he is rare to the world and will play an integral part in the evolution of humanity.
I am rare to the world, and now I know myself to be the human leader of the world.
It is easy for Erica's family to say that I'm brainwashing her when it's been them who've been trying to brainwash Erica all her life. I'm Erica's teacher, role model, and coach.
I'm embarking on a new human standard.
I have a purpose and a responsibility to make sure that the world grows into the best place that it can be.
The people who created the value system put the priority where the values of them, where it would benefit them the most.
My ideas are very important to the progression of humanity. I have the knowledge people need to hear. Close-minded people, such as Erica's parents, have kept the world from being a better place. 5 years ago, I had an awakening. I couldn't eat or sleep for 7 days. I was really afraid that I was going to die. The only way I was able to eat and sleep was by the use of marijuana. I woke up and was in a more evolved state.
I'm being treated a certain way regardless of what my character is, of what it is that I exude. And people are being rewarded.
Erica's parents really don't want to listen. They use me as a scapegoat for what they don't understand. Erica's parents are what I call cankers, people incapable of removing themselves from their conditioning to understand something greater than their own self. Erica's parents believe I'm a danger to my own children. It's more of a danger for me not to be around my children. I don't really want to go and work a job because it goes against most of what I stand for. In order to achieve our goals, we started nonprofits that value the human over money. If Erica's parents became enlightened, they would see that we're doing something greater for ourselves and the world, something for them to be a part of in the future.
Our eyes have to be open beyond what it is that we understand alone.
I appreciate your being here. You say that you are key to the evolution of humanity. In fact, you say that you are not a one, but the one.
What? No.
You say that you are rare.
Yes, rare, yes.
And that you are the one that will help evolve humanity. What do you mean by this?
I believe the ideas that we've put together that have been taken from many other philosophies and ideologies and putting in the way that we've developed is really key to it. And what we've done is really key to that. Not me, myself, but what it is that we've developed.
Well, you say you're the human leader.
Well, I'm one of them now, yes.
Far from only him. It's only going to take...
He claims to be the leader of the world. So that's one person is the leader of the world. That's what you proclaim. You're the leader of the world. You are not the leader of my world.
Again, I don't think I'm the leader. I think I'm
well,
the
let's cue that back up. Can we play that?
I am rare to the world, and now I know myself to be the human leader of the world.
I know myself to be the human leader of the world.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, have you changed your position on that?
Well, it wasn't changing the position. It was, again, that's a persona that I use. It's called the AB, the Accurately Angry Bipolar Black Man.
Accurate in being the leader, angry in the way you passion comes across?
Passion, yes.
And bipolar, are you bipolar?
Negative. It's what was diagnosed to me early on.
He cured himself. He cured himself. He's better now.
But you keep it in your title, your description.
Yes, sir, because it was placed on me. The app
but
is
it's really inaccurate because you're not bipolar.
Yes, correct.
So you're really an inaccurate, angry, bipolar black man.
The app is a character.
It's a character.
And in your family, you're the king. She's a princess.
Yes, sir.
And you're starting or wanting to start a business where you're teaching people about business and career and systems and routines to put in place to help counter episodes of ADD, bipolar 1 and 2, depression, PTSD, and autism.
Autism. I remember autism.
Yeah, this is from your website. Give me an example. What would be a routine you would put in place to offset PTSD, for example?
Well, PTSD is finally the source. So once you...
What do you understand about the neurological components of PTSD?
What neurological?
Well, there are brain components
Yes.
to PTSD. It's not a psychological thing.
That's the point of finding the source, because once you find the source that causes the reaction, then you can therefore put in an alternative to shift the reaction.
And you said in terms of business and career, you say that you will teach people to learn what smart investments are so they can maximize the benefits and financial stability.
Most careers and jobs are going to be obsolete in the next 10 to 15 years. So really shifting from, again, a monetary...
I'm going to be out of work, you saying?
Most. We would help you train yourself and to be able to figure out what it is your skill sets were so you know how to invest your money into you.
Why would I take advice from you? Because you're homeless and you have women in your family panhandling on the street. So why would I have confidence in your ability to guide me to do better?
Well,
no, seriously.
I understand. That's a very valid question. Mainly because what we're doing is we're embarking on something that's not been yet done. And what we're looking for are people who are, imaginative enough, who are open-minded enough to see and envision something greater than what we already have established.
All right, look, Chris says he's the king of his polyamorous triad with the dream of adding a woman of every race. Now, after the break, we're going to meet Chris's queen and find out why Erica is only his princess. We'll be right back.
Charnel's the queen and Erica's the princess.
I still have a resistance towards him because of my conditionings of my environment. So the title is accurate to the character.
Erica has not achieved queen status yet because she has a hard time of listening to what I say.
Yes, this is a polyamorous relationship. The three of us operate as a triad.
We're polyamorous. Charnel has a kid on the way, that's mine. Eric and I have 2 kids already.
I'm the king, the teacher, the role model, the coach, and the leader.
Chris is the king because he's more knowledgeable, because he's more experienced in life in general.
He helps us to better ourselves, helping us be more confident.
Charnel's the queen and Eric's the princess. Charnel's the queen because she came into the relationship willing to cooperate and communicate. Erica has not achieved queen status yet because she has a hard time of listening to what I say.
I still have a resistance towards him because of my conditionings of my environment. So the title is accurate to the character.
She often counters and is dismissive to what it is I'm trying to say. The ultimate dream is to have a global dynamic, having a representation from each culture as a family, as a part of our poly-cooperative. Our poly-dynamic should definitely be the standard in how most families and relationships interact.
Okay, so joining us is Charnel, who you just heard is the queen in Chris and Erica's poly-triad. So there's the 3 of you right now. Are you going to be adding any other men to this?
If they choose, if they...
But they have to be better than the king. None of them qualify as of yet because they're not better than the king.
And why is she a princess and she's a queen?
Well, a lot of the condition states that Erica still suffers from is, it's not a real extreme version of racism in which, hanging nooses or just saying something all the time, but it's more of, it's a nuance, it's a dismissiveness. It's because I lack a position of power or money and anything of the sort.
Maybe we can get it back. That's why we're here.
Okay.
They should be thankful for Chris because honestly, I wouldn't know where I would be in my life. They're incapable of seeing the woman that I'm trying to grow into. And y'all can put Chris on the spot and try to attack him and say, how are you the king? What we're working on is still growing in progress.
But you're
Every
not,
day
you're
is
not
growing.
better.
We're
You're
having
taking grandchildren out on
and
the
that's
street.
only because they're more focused on what their feelings are, that they don't want to see who I'm growing into.
Your
no,
soul
I'm not. There's
is
part of me-
gone, Erica.
How is my soul gone?
You have
I'm the
no
most connected
soul.
to myself than I've ever been my
no
entire
soul.
life. You guys are more protecting what your image is and what you've ever known.
Yeah, like, so we
And what
want to
I'm
sit
trying
here. This is what we want to do. Everybody can see us out here, not protecting our image.
You're not better. You're homeless.
You're saying that
You're
without
homeless with your children.
They've never asked me questions of what it is that I'm actually doing. All it is don't
Because
do this.
we
This
know
is
what you're doing.
What they see in their perception of what my actual life is.
You're begging on the street for money because you're homeless and you refuse to work.
Yeah, it's not. Everything is far from perfect. We are growing and working on that every day.
I haven't attacked anybody, I don't think. Have I attacked you?
No, sir.
This is something new, so I'm asking questions to understand it. Go ahead.
Say something about the joblessness, and so it's far from that we are just without jobs or we don't want to work. We work very hard on making sure that the crafts that we do
You're not
have.
financially stable to support your children.
But that's what we're growing into, to make sure that
You need to do it now. They're babies, and there's another one on the way.
it takes growth. It takes a
No,
collective.
it takes you to go knock on the door, fill out an application, and go to work.
Okay, ma'am.
Period.
Ma'am.
Period. Support the children you bear.
He's up here but he's down here on the hill.
How is that okay with you as a mother?
Yeah, they should understand that we have passion and accurate emotions. We need to express ourselves.
Tomorrow,
Sheila's in search of her true love.
she believes her ex-boyfriend sends her messages through the radio.
I hear songs, I follow the clues.
It's nuts, and you are relentless.
Simon called me relentless.
Is her search over?
He's in this building.
Then on Monday, a husband's shocking admission.
He was exposing himself to his mother-in-law.
I was disgusted.
She watched.
I can't believe him. I can't believe her. Who do you believe?
That's Monday.
I see a lot of contradictions between your positions and your reality. You say, we need to live independent of the system, but yet you're on food stamps and you use homeless shelters. You refuse to work, but Erica asked employed family for money, and you've been fired from all of these jobs. So, and you say you need to forget the value of money, but you're out panhandling for money. You set up GoFundMe pages for money, and you have about 30 nonprofits that you've set up for money. You say you're focused on growing and coaching people into humans who function at their full capacity, but it doesn't seem like capacity to me. Erica's been arrested, lost her car, all the money in the bank is gone because you're asking for money. You quit your job because Chris was fired. You're a princess because you don't listen. Dangerous not to be around my children. You smoke marijuana in the children's presence. You subject the children to emotional abuse. You put them on the street as props for panhandling. I don't see how that is. I don't see how you quite have this worked out yet. Are you getting ahead of yourself?
I can say that, yeah, we are ahead of ourselves. We're ahead of a lot of things that are going on right now. And of course, all of this is going to look as if we are, you know, I'm easily to demonize what's going on. But in all honesty, this is exactly what's necessary for us to really transition into something better.
As you all know, when we begin working on a story, we do our homework. And when my team was going through Chris's online profiles, we found a few videos that did leave me concerned. So let's take a look.
As a civilian of the United States, you have to put effort into knowing what's going on, to knowing what your fellow human beings that dwell on here and the variations they come in, what's necessary for them to also thrive too. Because we're only as strong as our weak link, and we shouldn't have any weaknesses, especially being the greatest country in the world. His inferiority complex is what's submitting humanity in general, because he's displaced. He's up here but he's down here on the pyramid, on the food chain, on the hierarchy. Maybe you'll even marry one of the one day. No. People are being rewarded. I remember people all around me being rewarded. I have to say you for now, because
You are only good to me if you are willing to be with me.
You're doing that in front of these children. How is that okay with you as a mother?
What are you talking about doing that in front of the children by him expressing himself?
Yelling and screaming and throwing profanities.
Yeah, they should understand that we have passion and accurate emotions. We need to express ourselves versus, yes, I'm good, everything is fine, let's not talk about it.
Well, that's a paper tiger, because you're saying those are the only two options.
Right.
But that's okay with you.
But again, you're doing the same thing, saying that's only who I am as well, too. I mean, and again, that is a character, those are moments. And to say that my kids are constantly exposed to that.
I didn't say constantly.
Okay, well, what I'm saying, to put that in there. But they're going to be exposed to all the vulgarities out in the world. So how
joining us is Dr. Charles Sophie. He is a board certified in 3 clinical specialties: adult psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, and family practice, as well as being the medical director for the Department of Child and Family Services here in Los Angeles, which is the largest agency in the entire United States. Dr. Sophie, thank you for being here. I have a problem with what I'm seeing. What is your reaction to what you're seeing?
It's abuse on some level, and you have to rein it in a lot tighter because you're going to end up paying a price. I saw another video somewhere where you were getting high in front of them.
I don't know which one you're talking about, but yes, it has happened.
At some point, you have to stop being a right fighter and have some rationale. This is happening. That's unacceptable.
Again, I disagree.
The fact that you disagree is all I need to hear. My concern about what I'm seeing is that, to me, is emotional and intellectual child abuse, and neither parent is stepping up to protect the children.
Right.
You're not, and you're not. And trust me, this isn't a close call. If you look at what these agencies use to determine whether or not there's parental fitness, they look to whether there is a safe, stable, and secure environment. That's not safe and stable in my view. Maintain loving, stable, consistent, nurturing relationship, daily needs of child feeding, clothing, and physical care, adequate education for the child, too early for that to be relevant, financial support, your panhandling, ability to identify and prioritize needs ahead of your own, ability to empathize and meet the needs of the child, ability to regulate impulses and emotions, assist child in developing and maintaining appropriate relationships. I gotta say no. Appropriate judgments regarding the child's welfare. To me, that is a 0. This is certainly questionable. That is certainly questionable. This, I would say, is a no. This would be a negative. This would be a negative. And this would be a negative. And the fact that you're saying that's okay with you is not okay with me.
And we as grandparents are not going to sit back and let it happen. We're not.
So what makes you guys think that they're removed from being in a nurturing, loving, caring environment?
What makes you think that we don't put their needs over our own, that we don't educate them?
Because when you're on the friends, you're exercising, and there's the babies, they're pulling at you for attention, and you ignore them.
They give all the attention in the world. They go pinpoint the certain videos
I'm just looking at the video, and I'm seeing what they have been subjected to thus far. If it's only what I see on the video, that to me defines it. Just understand what I'm saying. At some point, you have to stop being a right fighter and have some rationale. I've been very patient. I've listened to everything you've had to say. You need to hear me. It doesn't matter if the other 23 hours and 45 minutes of the day you're patting the children and being nice. If this is happening, and it is because there's video evidence that it is, that's unacceptable. And the fact that you don't see that tells me you're not judging this situation right. As a mother, that should not be okay with you.
Okay, and again, I disagree, because look what's happening out in the world.
Okay, the fact that you disagree is all I need to hear. We got to take a break. Next, where does this family go from here? This is what we want to talk about. We'll discuss that after the break. Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
What I'm saying is I believe these children, while loved, are being subjected to intellectual and emotional abuse. You disagree, correct?
Yes.
And you disagree, correct?
Very much so.
Which means it's not likely to change.
You're setting a standard over how everybody should be raised and reared.
Your way.
And that's where we're getting to.
I don't set the law.
The law is flawed as well.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's a system in
You're
place.
operating off of what you already have gotten to where you're at in
there
life.
There are environments where what you're expressing is saying it's way harsher and way. We're not harshly engaging our kids. We're not harshly critiquing them. We are doing what is necessary for us to get to the next step.
You're going to have the chance to explain that to a judge very soon, I'm sure, because that is child abuse, and you need to change it. You need to change what you're doing, and the fact that you're unwilling to step up and protect your children, shame on you.
Apart from my children are protected by us every day.
Every issue that you guys have is self-inflicted. You caused it all. You brought it all upon yourself.
Well, if they won't step up, then you need to, and you know how I feel about it. I've said what I've said. I've treated all three of you with dignity and respect. I've let you say what you've had to say. I've said what I've had to say. My interest is in protecting these children. I would think if there was even a chance that what you were doing was counterproductive for the children, that you would err in the direction of caution. But you don't seem to see it that way. We're out of time. I do want to thank my guest today. A special thanks to Dr. Charles Sophy for taking time to come here today. I hope you guys will reflect on what I've said about these children and put their interest ahead of your own. We'll see you next time.
Memories can kill ya, but it didn't hear ya. I thought that I could fly, but woke up on the asphalt. I swear there was the last time. I've always been naive. Call it